Let me now introduce and welcome Mr. B.S. Nagesh, Vice Chairman of Shoppers Stop. Mr. Nagesh, what a delight to have you back on ET Now. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Nagesh, first break up the news for us. Right, first break up the news for us, Mr. Nagesh. 51% FDI finally approved in multi-brand retail. Is that path-breaking or just a baby step, but a baby step in the right direction?
I would say it's path-breaking because we were expecting anywhere between 49 to 51. So I would say it's path-breaking. It's definitely not a baby step, although it took many baby times to come to this big step. But I think it's a very, very positive step and a good step.
Mr. Nagesh, morning. So what would it mean individually for you at Shoppers Stop?
I won't be able to comment anything on Shoppers Stop, but let me tell you that all the existing players, everybody is looking at a long term, and all the players know that this is a capital intensive business. There could be possibilities of strategic tie-ups, there could be possibilities of FII investment, there could be possibilities of strategic investment. So I think overall, one looks at retailers long term, and capital is required, whether it is small or medium or big player. Hopefully, this should open up the capital flow, mostly from the strategic players.
Mr. Nagesh, do you think Indian retailers in principle would be okay to sell 51% stake in their business?
Nikunj, we really don't know. We don't know the fine prints, because don't forget, when you're talking for $100 million investment, it's 450 crores. And out of that, if you're saying that 50% has to go to the back end, you're talking of 225 crores. Now, 225 crores to put in the back end, you won't be able to put it in 2 months' time. So one has to really look at it from a long term, plus also look at the fact that in retail you require close to about 10 to 12 times the turnover when you put a 1 rupee capex. So when you put a 225 crores in the back end, supply chain and various places, including, let's say, the front end, one would expect the turnover to be in the region of 5 to 10 times. So the FDI policy will have to also encourage and facilitate opening of many stores. So once you see the clarity, once you see the riders taken out, I think one will really be able to envisage as to how this will improve back end, how it will improve supply chain, and how it will improve the multiplication of the front end stores.
Mr. Nagesh, there are news reports that, Shoppers Stop is currently not looking at any foreign tie-ups. Any long-term plans that you may have on the cards?
Again, I'm sorry, but I'll not be able to talk on Shoppers Stop at this point of time. But like I said, that everybody in the industry will actually watch the changes in the law, will actually read through the fine prints, and I can assure you that people are not waiting on the outside door, neither are Indian retailers wanting to jump in. What it will do is it will open up dialogues. People will start talking as how the opportunities can be looked up. Yes, things will actually speeden up in the industry over the next 12 months' time, but you'll have to give between 3 to 12 months' time for people to really think this whole policy change, articulate it properly, strategize it, and start looking at implementation.
Mr. Nagesh, forgive me, but I'm not putting words in your mouth. But which are the foreign players which, after this new norm, will be automatically tempted to come to India?
See, to me, first of all, because it's a $100 million investment, I mean, we need to understand that 100 million may look very small, but it is not small. So I expect that the first set of players who look at this opportunity will be the large conglomerates of the groups, whether it is the large hypermarket chains, the top 5 or top 6, who have a turnover in the region of 10 billion to 60-70 billion. You may also see a large number of brands which are mostly American brands and some of the European brands, who again are in the region of 3 to 5, $8 billion. So these are the brands who will probably look at it. $100 million is a decent investment.
So, Mr. Nagesh, I mean, do you foresee that competition would indeed heat up, because that would also let open the doors on players like Wal-mart and Carrefour?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the moves of the government is also to say, can the inflation be brought down? And there are two ways that the inflation will be brought down: by building efficiency in the supply chain and therefore taking out the wastages. And the second is that by the competition, the consumers are going to get better price, hopefully better quality. So at the end of the day, competition is going to heat on. And to be honest, competition was already in the country, because don't forget that large players, 5 industrial houses of the country, are already in retail. So competition will heat on, but I believe the first set of competition will come out of quality. Don't forget that players who are going to come in, the large players, are also listed in their home countries. So I am sure that the home shareholders are not going to allow them to just go and start cutting down prices, because they will also want efficiencies and productivity over a long-term period. So definitely competition will be positive, because I expect quality and the prices both to stabilize and improve and come down.
If a foreign retailer comes to you, Mr. Nagesh, and again I'm asking you a hypothetical question here, if they're ready to offer a good price, how will you raise money then? Will you sell stake? Will you raise debt?
I can't comment if you ask me as somebody who's involved with a group, okay, but typically, unless you know exactly how the 51% investment is going to come through, is it fresh investment, because 225 crores of back-end investment to be bought, I'm not sure how many players have put that kind of money in the back-end. So it is not going to be as easy, Nikunj, but I think once we see the clarity, one would look at it. As far as we are concerned, like I said, we are in the process of today, tomorrow, the board meeting, so I won't be able to comment anything on the group.
What will happen to the Kirana stores and the mom-and-pop stores now? Because if supply chain efficiency is taken...
Yeah. See, to me, Nikunj, one thing that I am very, very sure of, in the next 20-25 years' time, I don't see any impact on the smaller Kirana stores or the smaller stores because of two reasons. One is the way the Indian property market is spread. Anybody who comes in, even with a 3,000 square feet format, will find it very difficult to find properties in close proximity of the consumers. So therefore, most people will have to really look at destination stores. So Kiranas are not going to be impacted, because anyhow to travel 2 kilometers you require 20 minutes in most of the cities. Number one. Number two is, when efficiency is brought down, you can't bring in efficiencies for selected people. You can't say I will send my truck on the linking road, but I won't drop ship to all the retailers, or only drop ship to a modern retailer at the end of the road. No. And the improvement in supply chain will have similar impact on the smaller retailers. Second, number three is that all the supply chain participants will start coming in. In fact, I believe that as soon as the news gets very clear, you will actually find a lot of supply chain partners coming in first, even before the retailers come in, once they know that the retailers are destined to come in. For example, we know that hypermarkets, after they came in the last 2 years, the trolley manufacturers have come into the country. Okay, you will find the fixture manufacturers coming in. I mean, retail requires special kind of lighting. Today, half the lighting is imported. Lighting manufacturers, grid manufacturers, sled manufacturers. I mean, there's so much. I almost see a similar thing that happened to the telecom or automobile, where the ancillaries cropped up and they are a large industry. Same thing is I'm expecting to happen within retail. And the last thing is that the whole manpower is going to be very, very positively seeing this whole change, because today there are only 5, 6, 7 groups. So as you have 30, 40 large groups, senior people would like to join, so that even there is a growth, there is a change, they move from one company to another. Otherwise, this is like a musical chair, you know, you go from one company and come back to the original company. So the positive impact of the ancillaries and the other suppliers is going to be much more than just the impact that we are looking at with FDI saying only retail will grow.
So, Mr. Nagesh, as we understand it, this would also help in strengthening efficiencies in the supply chain. I mean, and does that really go well with the COS mandate that they're, looking at minimum investment into the back end?
I absolutely. I'm very, very sure that it will make a difference, because only the long-term players look at large investments in supply chain and technology ahead of time. I mean, if I talk of our group, 98, when we put in $1 million plus in technology, we were not even a $5 million player at that time. I mean, today with whatever turnovers we have achieved, I mean, if you look at it, the investments were taken 8 years back. So similarly, if each player who comes in puts in $50 million, you will actually see the ripple effect of this positively over the next 3 to 5 years' time. So to me, that rider of saying invest in the back end, I see it as a very positive.